So this tutorial is pretty quick. It's just going to be covering some of the stories that we're going to read in the medieval period. First, we're going to read two folk ballads. One is Sir Patrick Spens. The other is The Wife of Usher's Well. And then we're going to study the Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales will have a prologue to begin, which introduces the characters, and then we're going to study more carefully the Wife of Bath's tale and the Pardoner's tale, and we will also read an excerpt from Le Morte d'Arthur. Some things to know about the Canterbury Tales. It is about a group of pilgrims traveling to the shrine of Thomas à Becket, and in the course of their pilgrimage, the characters take turns telling stories to one another, and the person who tells the best story will win dinner at the Tabard Inn, where they have all met one another. The Canterbury Tales begins with the prologue, in which all the characters are introduced. Chaucer uses both direct and indirect characterization in his introductions. We learn about the characters through their descriptions of their speech, their dress, actions, and through direct comments from the narrator, who doesn't really seem to judge them. The narrator uses imagery and promises to be straightforward in his descriptions, to hold nothing back. There are three groups among the pilgrims. One is the feudal group, including squire, knight, etc. The second is the church group. We're going to see the nun, the monk, priest, pardoner, etc. And the third is the city group. We talked about how guilds were becoming more popular during the medieval times. So we have the merchant, the cook, the wife of Bath, etc., etc. When the characters encounter one another at the Tabard Inn, the host, who is an inn owner named Harry Bailey, proposes their storytelling contest, and each character is supposed to tell two stories. The person who tells the story that is most entertaining and that teaches a lesson will be treated by the others to a meal at the Tabard when they return. So essentially, Harry Bailey was probably just trying to get more business whenever they came back. The narrator of the story is not named, and it is not Chaucer, and it is not Harry Bailey. Finally, the Canterbury Tales were never completed. We do not have two tales per character. All human activity lies within the artist's scope. The reason I think this is important is it encompasses Chaucer's idea. Before this, a lot of times people just focused on the hero, or they focused on the royal families and such. But Chaucer wrote about every man, and that's important to note, that anyone and everything that someone does is going to be worth noting. Final thing I really want you to know about the Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is that Chaucer's idea really wasn't original. He based the idea of this story on what was called the Decameron, and the Decameron was written by Boccaccio, and Boccaccio was a famous Italian writer. That picture on the right is actually a statue that is in, I think, Florence, Italy. The Decameron is a tale about 10 different people who escape the plague. They get away from the plague and they pass this time in the countryside, and during that time they tell stories to one another. And so that idea is what influenced Chaucer to have his characters telling stories to one another as well. And I hope you enjoy all the ones that we're going to read, and we will talk to you later. Bye.